So I keep seeing a ton of confusion on social media about the Epstein files and what really happened there. So here is my unbiased take on that case. For legal purposes, everything I say from here on in this video is my opinion and is not me stating any facts that have been proven in a court of law. Although the reason why no one has been tried in a court of law is because of the connections of those involved. I also will not be saying any names of any alleged co-conspirators as they have not been legally charged with any crime. Therefore, I will only be saying Epstein's and Maxwell's names, the only people who have been prosecuted in this case. I'm also going to be looking off to the side so that I can read my script because I want to make sure I don't say anything that I don't mean to say. So, children were taken, usually from poor countries, some in Europe. I don't know where all of them were located. I didn't delve that far into the files, but I did read through a lot of it. In some cases, parents sold the children into the ring because they were in such poverty and were made promises, such as that their children would be given jobs, access to high profile individuals, and that this would afford them a better life than that of growing up in poverty. People like Maxwell would scout models for parties, promising young girls riches and access to wealthy men. The idea was basically that if they did these parties, they would get paid for each one, and they could eventually meet and marry a wealthy man who would take them out of the lifestyle. After all, just look at Epstein's friend, First Lady. But alas, this was never the case for these poor girls. Many of them realized that after, on average, according to Epstein's own internal records, 2 years, and would unalive themselves or attempt to run away. It has been rumored that children were also taken from amusement parks and cruises. Crowded places like sporting events are common trafficking locations. It is also alleged that the children within the ring were moved from one location to another through complex tunnels that were underground. Multiple survivors have reported being inside of these tunnels. Epstein knew extremely wealthy and powerful people in every major country in the world. He invited them to these parties, which would usually be over a 3-day weekend and would involve varying levels of debauchery, as mild as illegal gambling and as terrible as torture and murder, allegedly. The party would start out relatively tame. Adult prostitutes, who were also slaves in the ring, were brought in to entertain the guests. There would also usually be Victoria's Secret models at every party, as the owner of that brand was very close friends with Epstein. This helped add to the illusion that the prostitutes were just paid models, just like the other girls. But as the weekend progressed and more guests left, the party would turn into things like betting on child fights, sometimes to the death, recording snuff films of children, and torturing children as young as newborn infants, allegedly. And the torture wasn't just physical, although that was a lot of it. It was also mental. People like Epstein, like the president, wanted to break a child down to nothing, to make them cry and kick them while they're down. It is alleged that the president was the worst of the worst, with Epstein himself calling him evil.